lots of country towns or lots of regional areas like Bendigo need a GP. You can have that. You can be the country practice doctor,
I don't know.
the regular 9 to 5, local legend, basketball legend turned local doctor. I can see that storyline for you.
I don't know if I'm tough enough. I don't know if I'm tough enough to be a GP.
So I wanted to ask you about the spirit and the way they've integrated themselves into the community in Bendigo. Um, can you talk about that? Because it seems to be that there's a lot more connectedness with the teams in the smaller centres than there is in the bigger cities. Um, and how does that mold the character of the team?
Well, I think it takes a person who wants that to come play for a team like Townsville or a team like Bendigo. I think there's an element of giving up some autonomy from a standpoint of like, if you're doing it right, you should go to any cafe and someone should recognize you. Like that's the reality of it. Like if you're doing it right, you should go bump into the grocery store and someone should feel comfortable coming up to you and saying, "Oh, are you so and so? Do you play for the Spirit?" Or, "Oh, I went to your," like if you're doing it right in Townsville or Bendigo, like that should be that should be like that. Then you'll know that you're doing it right. And so I think it takes a special person that's willing to have that and want that. Um, but I think it also is something that's so incredible and like the genuine connection that you get. And that's something I was doing a talk at a school today about how for me, I learned early in my career, it was really after my first season with the Caps, that there was no award, no championship, no amount of money in my bank account. Not that I made a lot of money that season, but I was talking more about when I was playing in Europe, but that like that wasn't going to be something that I was like, I'm so happy playing basketball. Like I knew that there wasn't going to be some external validation that was going to make me want to go wake up at 6 a.m. and go work out before I went to class or work out before I went to work or, and so, or trying to make some team, like trying to prove that I could be an opal. Like there was nothing like I learned in that season after winning quote unquote it all that like those things weren't enough to fill up my cup, that I needed connection and purpose beyond basketball to be able to be fulfilled playing basketball. And so for me, I think that's something you get when you play in a place like Bendigo or a place like Townsville, potentially Geelong, if they get a bit more of a track, a bit more of a run up, um, is that when you have this connection to community and you see the impact you're making on people's lives, and it's beyond an event. Like it's great. Game day should be an event. It should be entertainment. It should be a spectacle. It should be something that everyone can go and enjoy, and it's super entertaining. But like the other side of things is getting to go and do the school clinics, and then those being the same kids you bump into at the store, or you get to go and do a talk at a school, and it so happens that you see that mom or that dad at the cafe that you go to and get your coffee, and they feel comfortable coming up and talking to you. And so then once you get to build those relationships and that rapport, then on game day when it's those kids or those parents that you're signing that autograph, there's that connection, that purpose, that thing that's bigger than you, that you're potentially impacting for the future. That's like, yeah, this is why. Like this is, or not maybe the why, but it's certainly a big part of the why. And I think that just gets to be like cranked up, 10 levels in towns like Bendigo or towns like Townsville.
And you guys, you're also really supportive of Abby during her
Hmm.
ride. How did you guys kind of decide to do that? Because it's something that really would have made a huge impact for her.
I think if anyone is ever lucky enough to know Abby, you'd you'd run through a brick wall 50 times for her. Like she's that person that and it's not just because she's had to live through more things than someone her age should have to and deal with more than that. But it's the way she goes about it. It's the perspective she brings. It's the type of teammate she is. It's the way she can find humor in things and um, you know, just brings an authentic, genuine, like just appreciation for this world. Like it's, that kind of those kind of people are rare, and her personality is infectious amongst the team. And her willingness, Abby could be a starter on any team in the WNBL, and the fact that she genuinely is okay with coming off the bench, knowing she should be a starter, but knows that is what, like, that's the kind of person that Abby is. And so, when you're given the opportunity to go and drive a few hours to then surprise her, so when she turns down this paddock after 260 Ks on a horse, and you can hopefully jump out and not startle the horse and be like, hey, like, we're here for you. And then you get to go have this epic bonfire and meet her family and friends. And, like, those are the kind of memories that not everyone gets to have playing basketball. Like that is a no-brainer. Like, it's an absolute no-brainer. You can bring in someone from leading teams and pay them 10 grand to do some team building exercise and talk about, something and how are we going to change this if it happens in a game. Or you can see an amazing human do an incredible thing, raise 30 grand for breast cancer in honor of her mom, and be like, yeah, of course we want to be at the end of that ride and support you and surprise you. Like, it's an absolute no-brainer. And I think, you talk about meeting people that change, impact your life and change it for the better. And Abby is 100% one of those. And I think, me and Abby have more fun off the court than we do on the court. And we have a lot of fun on the court. But I think some of our best memories are probably going to be when we're both done playing and don't have to be so considerate of our bodies from a basketball standpoint. We can go ride horses and do all sorts of fun stuff like that. So, she's just awesome. And I'm so glad that that also, speaking of coaches, Kennedy, that was in preseason and gave us time off to be able to go do that, so speaking of a guy who understands, and that was, I think, his second year. So we had missed out on finals the previous year. We were having a disjointed preseason. Abby was gone for it. He gave her the time off to do the ride, and then he gave us the time off to go up and see her and spend the day. And so, that's also talking about a coach who gets it, that it's more than basketball too.